Welcome to June. This may just be my favorite month of the year for many reasons. It is weather-wise very pleasant. We're at the tail end of spring here in the Northern Hemisphere, heading into summer. So it's not usually incredibly hot. The days are long and very pleasant. I associate June with the end of the school year growing up. I graduated from high school the first week of June. I got married the first week of June, and my birthday is at the end of June. So I have a lot of very fond memories of this time of year. I do really enjoy, like I said, the weather and those memories, but I'm also making new memories. Today I approved my proof copy for haunt season, and that is on the way. So there's another fond memory to join my previous ones. We will be attending the Sierra Arts Book Fest in the coming week. We have a bookstore grand opening that we will be attending as guests and as future customers because we're very excited to have a new bookstore in our city. We are also going to be attending Nevada Pride. The patriotic part of myself enjoys Flag Day, and as I have already mentioned, I decorated my house patriotic for summer, usually starting with Memorial Day. I go with a red, white, and blue theme and a lot of stars, and I have patriotic nutcrackers and things like that. So it very much fits into my nostalgia and my enjoyment of this time of year. It's very much like decorating the house for other holidays like Halloween and Christmas. It really brings me a lot of joy, even though I do have mixed feelings about my patriotism at the moment. But another thing that we will be doing this month is early voting, and we will be voting in our local primary election. This is a gubernatorial election year, and we feel very strongly that we want to make our voices heard. So JT and I will be going to early vote today, and we have been voting since we married 44 years ago on Friday. It's just wild to think about how the time has passed. Another fond memory I have from that year, 44 years ago, and the day before our wedding, we did have the wedding rehearsal, of course, and then a group of my soon-to-be husband at that point and our friends went to a movie because Star Trek II came out, The Wrath of Khan, and we went to that movie. I remember standing in line. It's at a theater that no longer is a theater. The building still exists, and I pass by it frequently when I drive along the street. It's across the street from a McDonald's that one of my cousins actually worked at while I was working at Wendy's. So we worked just a couple of blocks apart from each other. But at that time, I believe she'd already left that McDonald's to go back to school. And the year I got married, she actually graduated from high school. So we had the movie, we had the wedding, of course, we had a brief honeymoon, and then we went to my cousin's graduation before my then new husband and I moved to the Midwest together to the base where he was stationed, Offutt Air Force Base in Bellevue, Nebraska, just south of Omaha. So I have fond memories of that first trip east. That was my first trip. Let's see, I think I'd been to at least Salt Lake City prior to that, but I had never been to Nebraska. So getting married, I hadn't yet turned 19. I was still 18 when we got married. We, like I said, drove to Nebraska in our Pinto station wagon. with pretty much everything we owned in the back. We had very little at that point, aside from a lot of the wedding gifts and my sewing machine, which I still have, and my guitar and things like that. So we stuffed the back of the car with our things, boxes of books, for example, because we're both nerdy reader types, and we headed off into the east to our new home together. So obviously, that has some very, very strong memories for me at this time of the year, especially going into this first week of June. My birthdays have always been interesting. And as I mentioned, my birthday is in later June. And I don't feel quite as much excitement about celebrating that as other people might, because growing up, I shared my birthday. I don't remember specifically if it was my aunt or my uncle. So my mother's sister married my dad's brother. And the cousin that I mentioned earlier that worked at McDonald's, we are double cousins because our parents are siblings on both sides. So my kids find that very strange, but that's how I grew up. So I did not find this an odd occurrence. And I'm curious to know if many of you out there have families where this kind of thing happened, where siblings may have married each other and then there are some very close relationships. It's not anything really weird, it's just unusual, I think. But this this cousin, my double cousin, and her parents, obviously her mother and father, who are my aunt and uncle, that aunt and uncle shared the 2 days around my birthday. One of them had the same birthday as, I believe I shared my birthday with my uncle, and my aunt's birthday was the day before, if I remember correctly. So those, with 3 birthdays in 2 days, obviously we would have a big family get together to celebrate everything all at once. And that's why I don't feel any strong connection to my birthday in particular, because I always considered it more of a party for multiple people than just something for myself. This year, my birthday, I will be celebrating with my book, Haunt Season, which I plan to release that day. My aunt and uncle have both passed at this point, so I do think of them at this time of year, but obviously we no longer celebrate a group birthday together. And that is a bit melancholy, but time passes and nature happens, and we just move on and hopefully enjoy the fond memories of what we had. I did feel, I don't know, shortchanged in some ways as a kid on occasion, not very often, but I assume it's similar to what people who have a maybe Christmas Day birthday feel, that there's so much celebration going on around them that their birthday in particular seems like it doesn't feel quite as important. So even though I have kind of a complicated history with my birthday, I do feel a sense of excitement at this time of year because I kind of consider this my New Year's, since basically this is when my life started, at the end of June. So my year would be from June to June. So as much as I enjoy the holiday in January, I do consider June more of the beginning of my year. And if we talk about fiscal years, at least in Nevada, our state fiscal year starts on July 1st. So that goes a little bit along with my idea that June is more of a new year for me than anything else. But as you can tell, I do have a lot of thoughts and emotions connected with June, a lot of memories, and I find it a very enjoyable time. So I'm happy that obviously we're having some very beautiful weather right now. I think it's currently about 76 to 78 in my sunroom again. The trees around us have leafed out nicely, so they're shading the more brilliant sunlight at this time of day. It is just afternoon. I just had my lunch out here actually, and I'm looking forward to going out later with JT to vote, and then later this week, the two of us will be going to enjoy a birth, or excuse me, I had birthday on the brain. An anniversary meal at the Wendy's where we met. And then we may rewatch Star Trek II as part of our anniversary celebration. So we have a lot of fun plans coming up. It is a big week for us. And next week will be equally busy because I need to get Battleborn Bride back to my editors by June 10th. June 12th, we will be at the grand opening of Bub's Bookstore here in Carson City. So if you are in the local area, please try to come out for the grand opening. I know it is a Friday and I'm not sure how late they will be open, but definitely check them out and hang out there as often as possible because we want to keep them going. It sounds like they have some fun plans to make it a real community space, and we need to encourage that as much as possible. It's also not too far from the Brewery Arts Center, where we will be on June 13th for Nevada Pride. As I mentioned, the Brewery Arts Center Performance Hall is actually the old St. Teresa's Church where my husband and I got married. So again, we're feeling that connection, and we will probably have our booth set up in the parking lot of the Performance Hall for that event on June 13th. And then to wrap up the month, I will be releasing Haunt Season on June 26th, my 63rd birthday. Yes, I'm celebrating 63 today, or this month, excuse me. My mind is all over the place today. I'm celebrating 63 years this month, and I was born in 1963. So you can tell there are a lot of interesting connections going on there. But this, I know, is a bit of a ramble, but I did feel like just sitting down and acknowledging the fact that June is here. June is a big month, and I hope that you also have some fond memories of this time of year, if for no other reason than obviously most people will have gotten out of school at the end of the year, maybe in June, or had their high school or college graduations in June. June is definitely wedding season for a lot of people, so I'm sure we are not the only ones who celebrate an anniversary this month. And if you have a June birthday, then I'm not sure when the astrological sign Cancer starts, but I do send a shout out to all my fellow Cancerians as we head toward our birthday celebrations. So I hope you're having a wonderful day where you are. I hope the weather is very nice. It is a Monday here, so I hope you have good plans for the week ahead and that everything is very pleasant and as relaxing as possible, because I know many people do a lot of their really intense work throughout the winter and spring, maybe starting in the fall, and we kind of tend to become more lazy during the summer months, or at least we hope to be. So I hope you're heading into a bit of a lazy season and that you're able to get out and enjoy the nice weather whenever possible. I thank you again for joining me, and I hope to see you tomorrow. I'm Cassidy Carson, and this is The Life of a Writer. Take care.